Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Biblical Prepping. I'm Judith Garten. So here's the tour of the garden and how well it's doing. I have a funny story for you. You see this mustard, wild mustard? It's actually called a cress. And some people say crazy cress, others say wild cress. This is going to go into prolific seed very soon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with a trash bag, cut it when the seed pods are big enough, and I will be hanging it probably in the shed so that the seeds will pop in the bag, and I will be saving those. If anybody would like some, as long as I have more than enough, I will be happy to send some of those out. Just drop me a note through biblicalprepping.com, use the contact form, and we'll get in touch that way. That will be through email. You won't have to post any personal information here on social media. This used to be our asparagus bed. The asparagus did not come back this year. I was seriously disappointed, wanted to cry. But we have potatoes, which is really nice. And I see some green beans. Awesome. I don't know if you can see them. Hanging down there somewhere, right below that, right around behind that yellow leaf. I'm not real good at holding the camera, so I'm sorry about the shaking. So that's the beginnings there. You see my compost pile in the back. I actually used, that was 2 feet deep. It didn't do exactly as I wanted to as far as the thermal compost pile, but it was pretty good, and I went ahead and I moved it all into this bed, and now look at my potatoes and my green beans. I have green beans started on the deck. I'm going to be putting in a second crop of pole beans as well as bush beans, and the rest of the bush beans are going to go back there in that second half of the garden there. I'm going to grow lots of food this year. So as we turn to the left, you'll see my simple little Aldi garden line composter. I really like this thing this year. I was about ready to throw it out, but I've been putting kitchen scraps in it this year. So this year it's just doing kitchen scraps mostly. I did put in leaf mold and whatnot, and it is doing its job. Part of my box is over there. That's my irrigation system that needs to get out into the blueberries. Now if you look up here, we've got our green onions growing, and I'm so happy. I have so many of them that are going to seed this year. The slugs have not destroyed them. People have said to me, slugs won't bother onions. Yeah, they do. In West Virginia, they do. My cushaw is back here. It's not doing the greatest, so I need to feed it. It should be a good 4 or 5 feet long by now, even though the weather's been cold. My corn is a little anemic at this end. Doing kind of good in the middle, but I have jadam over here, and I'm going to be using that to feed the beds. So I need to get that done soon. If you'll notice in the back, over there, can you see the pretty blossoms? Spaghetti squash! I've got about 10 plants just thriving. I am so excited. I am hoping this year we're going to be hardening off a lot of squash for the winter, as well as processing a bunch for dehydrating and for freezing. It is going to be fantastic. And these peas here along this fence, or this trellis, I'm actually growing these as seed peas. Not sure what happened. Excuse me. Sneeze. Maybe not. Maybe so. Oh, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but something ate, and I think it was slugs before I got the diatomaceous earth on. And I am finding, for me, DE is working better for slugs this year than the Cories or any of the other slug killers. So DE is working much better. I've got an order in for another big bag, and I will be using that around the bases of the plants. It also has helped keep the squash from being attacked by the vine borers so far, so praise God on that. But these peas got eaten, most of them, by somebody, so whatever is left here, these are going to be seed peas. Over here is my favorite spot. I came out here yesterday and I picked a bowl full of pea pods that were packed full of peas. I'll put the photo in. I ate them. They were so good. I see a couple more. I might steal some more as a snack this morning. So good, so tasty. Yum. Now here I had started some sticks from a bush over in the woods, and this is a curly willow. It makes really cool walking sticks, and I can't remember how many are planted in there. I need to dig them up. I stuck them in the ground in the fall in here to overwinter and pray that they would grow, and they have grown. They are going to be going into the prayer garden. I'm so excited. I also tried some variegated wigelia. It did not grow. However, I'm going to try again. Here's more. These are my cucumbers. Look at the blossoms. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for pickles. We're going to be trying fermenting pickles this year, which is really exciting. These are my poor little peppers. This is the unique thing I decided I was going to try and do. What I did was I started seeds in one pot, and then I pull out whatever is not growing well as things go along. And I ended up with about 6 to 12 plants that were pretty good. So I put them out here and then covered them with a plastic clutch during the chilies. And they're still growing, but they are seriously stunted. So they need fed. This is another potato bed. I planted red potatoes and baby golden potatoes in here, and they're not doing really well. They decided to grow. I don't know if you can see that. They decided to grow above ground instead of in the ground, and they're green. So, it is what it is. Over here, past this bed, there's our spaghetti squash plants. They're short, but they've got lots of blossoms, so I'm praying that they keep growing. Now, my butternut, that is one plant. It's growing fantastically. We have another one here doing well, and another one here. We have pumpkin that is starting to really grow well. And we are trying an experiment because the nopal cactus, also known as prickly pear, does grow well in West Virginia. So around our gardens in various beds, I have 10 pads planted. And I am hoping, I got them at a produce market in New Jersey, brought them back here, and they are from the Southwest, and we are praying that they grow and root. That one looks good. I have a couple of them that don't look so good. This is a red raspberry that needs to get moved. I planted it back in this corner hoping it would do well. It's done not so great as far as producing berries. It grows a lot of shoots. So we're going to be putting that in the woods, in the prayer garden area. This here is our canning tomato bed. We have basil in here, Rutgers tomatoes. That's this bed. Here we have Hampsons. I tried mortgage lifters. They did not take off. I was really sad. This is our two little, I don't know if you can see them, little beefsteak tomato plants. They really need to get growing. More potatoes. These ones came up left over from last year. And in amongst these potatoes, there are tomatoes. This is where we have the mortgage lifters. And we've got one here doing really well. We've got another one here doing really well. One in there doing well. And one right over there doing super. So we are really looking forward to. We had some Swiss chard come up from some seeds I planted last year, and I think the best tomatoes so far, except for that one really awesome Rutgers, are these two cherry tomato plants. One here, one here, and they are grown from organic cherry tomatoes. That's another seed experiment I did, and I am telling you this is how I'm going to be doing tomatoes from here on out. Fantastic idea. See, here we have the the pole beans, they're starting to climb. These are our zucchini. I know by now all y'all are trying to figure out what to do with yours. Ours is just blooming. And our best two plants are down there. These two down here by the compost pile are not, or these 6 down here by the compost pile are not that great, but I'm hoping that they start growing better. Another prickly pear. And that is the vegetable garden. So thank you for joining me in the tour. Blessings and shalom.